One Percenter Podcast with Sam Bakhtiar, bringing you the 1% knowledge to help you reach your full potential. Learn what it takes to rise above the 99% and become a 1%er.
All right, man, we are here at the One Percenter Podcast in St. Louis, Missouri.
That's right.
With the one and only, the legend, the myth, Andy Frisella, man. I appreciate you having me. I know how valuable your time is. And you know what? I can't tell you how much I appreciate being here at the First Form headquarters. By the way, First Form is moving to a new place.
Yeah, right down the street.
Right down.
Yeah.
I mean, that place looks huge, bro.
Yeah, it's big. I was just telling the story this morning. First of all, dude, I'm glad you came out here, man. I really appreciate you making it.
I know you get like 1,000 requests, and
Yeah.
for you to grant me this, it means a whole world.
Bro, I'm a huge fan of your stuff. It goes both ways.
Thank you.
So, a lot of mutual respect here.
Thank you.
But yeah, man, I had some guys come in this morning, and we were talking about when we first moved into this building, we had 4 people, and it's 23,000 square feet. And so then we got the building next door, which is also 23,000 square feet. And then we got a building down there, which is another 12. And so we're consolidating those, right? And the guys were asking me about how big the new building was. And I said, well, it's big. It's 188,000 square feet.
Holy shit! Yeah. That's a lot. That's like what, 3 times now?
Yeah. So we have 5,000 square foot of the office is where we're really bursting at the seams.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we have about 5,000 square feet of office space, and at the new building we'll have 50,000 square feet. So it's going to feel back like we went back in time when we go over there, because we're going to have a lot of empty space at first. But I mean, for what we're planning on growth wise, it'll take a couple of years, but we'll fill it up.
And that's just for First Form.
Yes.
So office. So it seems like you're beefing up the infrastructure
Right.
to service your clients even more.
Right.
Because I've ordered some stuff from you, man. I get the handwritten cards.
Yeah.
I get the follow-up emails, and we know like your customer service is impeccable, and the culture that you have created is just incredible. By the way, I'm going to go on the record and say like I've been trying to formulate my own vegan protein, right? And I literally have bought like 10, 12 different vegan proteins, and I'm trying to test them. Like every single one of them tastes like shit. And the only one that I can taste right now is your peanut butter flavored, chocolate peanut butter flavored vegan protein. That shit is bomb, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you. That's as you're finding out, that's just a hard space to crack right now to get the taste right. But what we found too is that with the vegan culture, which I respect 100%. They're willing to make some sacrifices on taste to stand for what they believe in, which I actually respect a ton. But yeah, man, that vegan powder is just it's a hard nut to crack.
Man, you cracked it. You cracked it because there's like only one other one that comes close.
Yeah.
But that thing, because I was like this, and your protein bars, bro. I'm going to go on the record. I'm not here to,
Yeah.
your protein bars, bro, it's just like off the chain. It doesn't make you fart.
Yeah.
Usually after 1 or 2 of those things, it's badass, bro.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
You know what? I'm not here to talk about all the good shit that you've done. Forget about that, man. I'm here to get to know Andy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you a bunch of all the other crap that you already had on your podcast. Everybody else knows about you and stuff like that. I'm going to throw you up some crazy loopholes.
Cool, man.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So, Andy, you accomplished so much right now in life. Okay, you have accomplished so much. You're like the entrepreneur's entrepreneur. Okay, but my question to you is, why do you love Oscar so much?
My dog?
Yeah, your dog.
Well, Oscar was my dog that passed, and then we have Otis. So, but I'll talk about Oscar. Oscar was my first my dog, right? That wasn't like our family's dog. So I got him when I had nothing, man. I was making $695 a month when I got him.
Kind of like Rocky when he was coming up. He had his dog who was making nothing, right?
Yeah, and so it's funny. The story how I got him was my buddy Randy was talking to him. We were bartending it together, and because that's why I did it at night, so I could actually run my company. Like I had a job to support my company. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So we were talking. We just got on the subject of dogs because you know how like when you in the restaurant bar, you get to know people, man. So we're talking about dogs. He's like, well, I breed American Bulldogs, and I'm like, really? I'm like, I always thought American Bulldogs were cool because like in Homeward Bound, they got one, and The next day, like I didn't think anything of it. Well, the next day he shows up at my work with this shoebox, and inside the shoebox was this little puppy.
Oh.
And he gave me the dude. I mean, at that point I was instantly I was like, I'm getting him. So I got him.
You fell in love right away.
Yeah, he was only like 4 weeks old, so I couldn't get him until he was 8 weeks old. So every day from when he was 4 weeks old.
Oh, you can't get it. Is there because they're not developed yet?
Yeah, they have to be with their mom for a certain amount of time, I guess. And so he was too small to be, mine. So every day during that 4 weeks, I went to their house and played with them, even when he was that little, And dude, he went everywhere with me. Went to work with me anywhere I was. Went to work at night with me. Anywhere he went with me. So. It was just a special relationship.
It's a bond.
Yeah, and I didn't have, I just didn't have anything else. That was it was all I had, and that was like my little family, So.
So if I'm not mistaken, it was like he had a heart attack or something, right?
Yeah. When we were, it was 2012 or 2013, the day after Thanksgiving. I was sitting there, I was practicing guitar, and he started breathing weird, and 30 minutes later, he's gone.
So would you say that you had the best relationship or special relationship with him rather than Charlie and Otis?
I have a similar relationship with Charlie, because Charlie's kind of attached herself to me, and she reminds me a ton of him. Like, he was just very sweet, very, very friendly, but also protective in the right way, And so I have a real special relationship with Charlie, too. And Otis is kind of like Emily's dog.
Got it.
But yeah, man, that bond it's hard to explain to people that don't get it. You know what I mean? Dude, I can remember.
It's basically your sidekick, right?
Yeah,
your
bro.
yeah.
Like, I can remember one time, dude, I shouldn't even tell this story, but fuck it, I'll tell it anyway. So one time I was dating this girl, and she was at my house, and then I saw my ex-girlfriend, who I had been dating previously, at work that night, and I guess she thought it was a good idea to come to my house. And so I'm laying in bed. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I hear this knock on the window, right?
Oh, shit!
And I look out the window, and it's my ex-girlfriend, and so I'm like. So I just went back to bed. Like, I just laid back to bed. And my girlfriend at the time, she was like, what was that? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what it was. One of Ryan's friends. I was hoping she would go away. She didn't go away. So moves back, comes and knocks on the door, rings the doorbell. And I'm like, go back. I walk out. I said, hey. I said, I'm seeing someone else. And she's right there. You got to go. And turns out they got in this huge, argument. And, they both,
The girls did?
Yeah. They my ex came to the door. They're both my ex now. But they got in this big argument, and then they went away, and they were both mad at me. And I remember I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, you're never going to believe what happened. Because, dude, no BS. I really didn't do anything. Everybody always says that. I didn't do anything, but I really didn't do anything. And my dad goes, I go, Dad, you're never going to believe what happened. And I'm telling him, now they both hate me. Oh. And he's like, well, at least you got your dog.
Oh, my God. True. Yeah. The dog always going to stay loyal. It's not going anywhere.
And after that, man, I was, it was just always me and him.
Man. All right. So I was going to ask you, the next question was, who do you love more between Charlie and Otis? Yeah. I think Charlie, you already said it, right?
I love them both, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you have a different bond, right?
Yeah, for
different
sure.
bond, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you I'm going to change a whole different direction.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you're such a great leader.
Thank you.
And I see how you treat dogs, and you have everybody looking up to you. Have you ever thought about becoming a father?
I have. I was just actually talking about this today too.
I hope to Emily.
Yeah. Well, no. yeah, for sure. No, we talk about it, man. But it's never happened organically. You know what I'm saying? So we haven't neither one of us are in this big hurry to do it. Mm-hmm. But now I guess we're getting a little bit older. We start talking about it a little bit more, and I'm not ruling it out.
Yeah.
It's just never. It's. Dude, the last 20 years of my life, man, I really feel like I've been raising kids the whole time because I've been, so many young men and women in my company. Mm-hmm. They come in and, you mentioned our culture and everything. You're doing a lot of work with these people, right? You're correcting a lot of bad habits. You're really teaching them how the way the world works. and I get that level of fulfillment from that opportunity. So I don't think I've ever like missed that, urge.
Right, because everybody here is your children.
Sort of.
You've been developing them, you were helping them, you were coaching them.
Yeah.
And I see that, and the whole time, like, man, Andy has helped so many people have come up. I mean, whether directly or indirectly, you're such a great leader. You develop such a great culture with all your companies, and I think the next progression, would be that.
Seeing my brother start to have kids has kind of changed my mentality. I was very anti-kid, like my whole life. I was like, dude, it's not for me. I want to be on my own. I want my own time. After getting to know Sal's kids and how you see what he's doing, and I mean, it's scary because I see how hard he works at it and how much time it takes. Because I'm afraid to give up that time because I really like my time, man. Yeah. But I feel a little bit, and I'm almost feeling to the point where it's like, okay, if I don't, I probably might regret it. You know what I mean?
Does Emily ever pressure you?
No. I mean, when we got married, man, we talked about it like we were gonna like start having kids, and then like it just didn't happen, and it just, I don't know, we just don't talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because she's doing her own stuff too, right? Like she's running her own brand and building her own companies, and we have an awesome family. We have nieces and nephews on both sides, and her family and my family that we're close with. And we kind of dig that, being that aunt and uncle, you know what I'm saying?
So you have the children without having the side effects of time with the children. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I get it. So now that we're talking about Emily, she's a boss, babe.
Yeah.
You're a boss.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? You guys are doing your own thing and all that kind of stuff. How important is it for someone becoming an entrepreneur to have a woman that understands that whole thing?
I think it's
everything.
What I mean? I think it's everything. Because like I don't know, I'm sure you share the same experience. There's just so many.
Oh, bro, I've been divorced. Because of it. I mean,
yeah.
I would, 5 years ago I got divorced. I was living in a hotel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and I've had so many of my buddies go through that same thing. Because the truth is, when entrepreneurship's in you, it can't come out of you.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of younger people are like, oh, I'll suppress that urge just so I could be with this person. But really what that's doing is cheating the entire world of what you're gifted with. And so I feel like, to me, I kind of knew that because I come from a divorced family, and
Same.
Yeah, so it was normal for me to grow up. But as I grew up, I was always very observant. I'm like, okay, why are these relationships working? Why didn't my parents' relationship not work? And so I was always being a student of that, and I always felt like, and this is not a popular thing to say by any means, but it's how I feel is the truth. I feel like people are falsely loyal in relationships because of the time spent with the person.
So true. Because,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I've been with this person for 2 years. I got a
history.
Yeah, I got history, I got to work with this. And what they do is they build up this huge vision that doesn't even really exist. That's potential, right? And then they start molding their vision and their dreams to fit this potential that's based on the history. When in reality, it shouldn't even be like that. Yeah. Like you need to align with someone who understands what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish and respects that and wants to support it, and also vice versa.
When did you learn that Emily was the one and she was going to be that person? Because a lot of people, they start dating and they think it's the one, they don't understand, but at a certain point in time, she did something or said something that said, you know what, that's the girl.
Yeah, so we had a unique like courtship, I guess you want to call it. We were friends for a long time. Yep. And she was actually married, and I didn't even dude, I'm not the type of dude to mess with someone's stuff. So she was married. I had a live-in girlfriend, and she was actually
you called her a hoe. So I'm just going to say that you called her a hoe yourself, right?
Yeah.
Did you say that?
Yeah, it was not a good situation. Yeah. I'm being polite.
Okay. So I'll be impolite for you.
Yeah, we it wasn't a good situation at all. It was very, very toxic, and she ran the company that did our graphics. So before we had First Form, we just had our retail stores. Mm-hmm. So all of our signs and our signage and in-store signage, they did. And I was friends with the owner. I'm still friends with him. Really great guy named John Dewey. So I would go in there, right, and he would do my stores, but it would take me a long time to pay him because like I didn't have any money. So she was the one that had to call me to like.
Hey, you owe us some money.
Yeah. So she.
And she married you after all that.
Yeah,
I would have been like, man, fuck him. He can't pay his bills.
Bro, because people always think that like, because now people think that's why she's with me.
Yeah.
You know,
we know. She's a real rider.
That's
right. Yeah.
So, because dude, she looks the way she looks. So it's like, oh, dude, she's with this rich dude. No, that's not the story. So I'm very much.
She was like me when she was calling me for bills.
Yeah, bro. I'm very much where I'm at because of her. Yeah. Like a big, huge contributing factor. And I'm not delusional about it. You know what I mean? Because, dude, the emotional energy that you spend,
huge, bro, huge.
Like she's allowed me to take my energy instead of spending it all on this relationship and fighting and this and that. Now I'm able to focus it, and that's why I started making money. It's the truth. But she used to call me up and be like, you know, hey, Andy, you know, we got this bill, and I'd be like, hey, man, if you want to take me on a date or you want to flirt with me, you just ask me, you know. And I would just be teasing, you know what I'm saying? Like, a total joke. Well, turns out, like, after like years of this, she ends up getting divorced, and I didn't even know it, right? So she was divorced for like a year, and it was my 30th birthday, and I had just broke up with the girl I was seeing. And she knew that. And so I was in their office because our lab for First Form, which we had just started that time, like that last year when I started dating her, was next door to where she worked. So I would go in there 2-3 days a week and just hang out. So she would be like, we were in there and she's like, what are you doing on your 30th birthday? I'm like, nothing. I'm like, she goes, well, I'll take you out.
You're like, hell yeah.
I'm like, I thought you were married. She's like, I got divorced a year ago. And I'm like, we going out.
We going out. We going out, but you paying.
Yeah, no shit, man.
I got no money.
I think I made some room on the credit card for that.
Pay a quick bill.
That's right.
A couple $100 towards it, man.
But that's how it was, bro. And you know what? She lived an hour away, so she would come in town and stay at my house, you know, on the weekends, and then eventually it just progressed. But I mean, to answer your question, honestly, like on our first date, I knew that was probably going to be.
That's awesome, man.
But I had already had that relationship, that friendship, you know, and that was cool too because I would go in there and I would bitch to my buddy about all the girl problems I was having, right? Like all the relationship problems I'd had, you know, and you know how you do with your bros, you know. So I'd be telling John, and she'd be sitting right there hearing it all. So I never had to make up any bullshit. Like she just knew what she was getting. So it really created a great foundation of like no judgment, you know, because you know how as people are, man. They put on this front for 6 months. And then all of a sudden they're not that person, you know. And now it's like, who am I dating? That never happened with us, so it was a really cool thing.
So you guys are both alphas, right? She's an alpha female, you're an alpha male, right? Yeah. You know. So do you guys ever clash? And if you guys do argue, what is it mostly about?
She's very traditional, like at home. So like we have traditional roles, like but she runs her stuff when I'm not there. So she's like takes care of me real well. In terms of that.
I love that. Yeah. I think the traditional is awesome because everybody has a role. Yeah. Nobody is better than anyone.
That's right.
You know, we want to win a ball game. You play that position, I play that position.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I don't disrespect her role, and she doesn't disrespect my role.
And I think society right now has it all fucked up, right? You know, men are trying to be women, women are trying to be men, everybody's trying to do this, and I'm like, you know, now everything is fucked up, everything is twisted, right? Yeah. And I'm old school.
Nobody knows what they're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. You know, I'm like, well, who do what? Am I supposed to cook? Are you supposed to cook? You know what I mean? What the fuck? You know, somebody.
And if we post it, I'm cooking on Instagram, people are gonna get mad.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, dude, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I think that's where fucked up with society. I think, you know, everybody's now trying to be everything and everybody, you know, I don't believe in that.
You know what it is, man? Whatever makes it work for you.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I feel. Like, but I've never felt like, you know, I don't need to push my shit on other people. I just don't want their shit pushed on me.
100.
You guys want to do it that way? Great for you. I support that. But this is what works for us.
I even saw like a thing a man wears that simulates breastfeeding. You know what I mean? Like I swear to God, I'm going like, dude, like, you know, because I had a new baby now, right? I'm like researching shit and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm like, what the hell, bro? Like, I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
It's a fucking weird world we live in.
So when you guys do fight or argue or disagree, or none?
Yeah, I'll be honest, man. We've never had a fight about. We fight maybe once a year, like.
Damn, that's fucking. That's a good relationship.
Yeah, like once a year we'll get in a fight, And it's usually because I drank too much and I'm saying stupid shit. And she's like, shut the fuck up, you know? And that's honestly, because
he keeps you grounded.
yeah, that's it. Like, she'll check me and be like, dude, you're fucking drunk. You're being an idiot. And then I'll be, of course, because I'm drunk and I'm being an idiot, I'm like, the fuck you talking about? And
Don't
then,
talk to me like that, woman.
right, exactly. So then we get in an argument, and the next day I wake up, I'm like, I'm sorry, you know? So that's about the extent of the fights that we get into, you know? But we both, you know, it's a real partnership. It's not like an ownership situation.
Yeah.
Like, dude, she's in Vegas right now. I probably won't hear from her for 3 days. I'm not fucking worried about it. I don't even care.
I love that, though. I love that because, I mean, like, you know, you being, you know, who you are, first form, you know, you have all these influencers. Yeah. You have all these fine-ass girls around you all the time, you know, and normal woman, like, you know, like, we'll be tripping. You know what I mean? You'll be tripping.
Well, that's the other thing, especially in our space. Like, you got to have someone who understands that because, dude, I could see where that probably doesn't work for most women.
No, for sure, for sure. That's why I was like, man, you know, and like vice versa. I mean, Emily,
no, if it was vice versa,
Emily's beautiful,
right?
You know what I mean? And, you know, she's in Vegas, you know what I mean? An insecure man would have, you know,
man. I mean, I don't know. I feel good about myself. Like, if you could do better, go do it. You know, I know that sounds cocky, but
you know what? And we talked about it before offline. You know, where you said that you had the same confidence that you have now when you were 400 pounds.
Yeah, I did. I always have.
How did that come?
I don't know, man. I guess I've always just had. I guess I've always thought I was cool. You know?
Hey, me too, man. I'm 5'5" on a good day.
Like,
you
dude,
know,
when I was big, dude, I just thought I was more like Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the truth. So, like, obviously the truth. Like, I didn't like taking my shirt off and shit. Like at the pool, but like I've always like. I don't know what that is, man.
You're still pulling them.
Yeah. What do you? Well, you know what? The truth is like, you know. When you don't have the, you know this because you are 5'5".
Yep.
So like, dude, I was fat, and if you like females or you like the opposite sex, guess what? You got to learn how to do. You got to learn how to talk. You know. And so, you know, I always liked girls, so I learned how to talk.
There you go.
Know? And
that confidence is everything, right? Because I mean, you can see even a bigger girl, right?
Yeah.
But when they have confidence, also they become cuter.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than that big girl who's like, I don't know, oh my god, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you wear it well, own it.
You just gotta own who you are, dude. And like, that took me a long. Like, I would say for a long time, I was kind of faking it. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew that's what it took. Mm-hmm. And it took me till I was about, I don't know, when I was probably about 30 years old, I started like really believing it. And I'm like, oh, all right. You know, it was never the money. It was never money that did that. Or like people, I get, you know, people like, damn, dude, you make some cocky shit on your story. But I was doing that shit when I was broke. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was saying the same stuff. So
money doesn't really change you. It makes you who you are faster, or exposes who you are.
Yeah, because it brings eyeballs. Yeah. You know, because then people are enamored by, they want to look, and they like, you know, they start to see the lifestyle and the stuff that you do and that they aspire to do, mm-hmm. and then they wonder like how you did it. So it just brings attention, and I think that's 100% accurate. I don't think it changes people, other than maybe it makes you a little bit more selective about who you let in your circle.
Yeah.
You know, because the thing that Emily and I noticed, we both noticed this because she was with me the whole time. And Chris, my business partner, my brother, like all of us, we all noticed this because we've all been on the train, you know, the same train. So, you know, when you're first starting out, your friends from like college and high school, they're like, oh yeah, dude, this is great, this is cool, this is that. But when you start having success, and it's like real success, like you bought a new nice house, or you moved out of the old neighborhood, or you're going to different places that they might not be able to afford to go. You're having a simple conversation at dinner, right, about these things, but they perceive it as bragging.
Oh, bragging, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're not, so you become this person who can't even share their life with this other group because of how they feel, and it becomes isolating. You know what I mean? And then you become conscious of it, and then you start to seek other people who are on the same mission.
Yep.
And then, you know, so there's no animosity.
Bro, my best friend, that happened to my best friend, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, he was my best friend. I mean, I remember I was doing a photo shoot every year. You know, I called Dads with Abs. It was kind of charity event. We get a bunch of cars, dads that had abs with their kids and stuff like that. And I was like, I was divorced. I just got divorced. My best friends one of my best friend of all time, comes and goes, yeah, man, you know, it's cool that Sam I have all this stuff, but at least I get to sleep with my kids every night.
Yeah.
I'm going like, wow, like where'd that come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because like, you know, it's crazy.
Dude, and what I found too, bro, is that like people aren't even aware they're saying what they're saying. Like I felt like I've had people say so much rude shit like that without them even realizing what they said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so here I am trying to accommodate their feelings and what they're, you know, by toning my shit down. And they're trying to fucking put a hammer into you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a good feeling.
No, it's not
a good feeling.
So, you know, eventually you're just like, fuck it, I'm going to find some new friends.
And that's exactly my next question.
Yeah.
At what point in your life you say, you know what, I'm going to be unapologetically me.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what people say. Because people are going to say whatever they're going to say anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going to do, they're going to judge you, right?
Yeah.
So you might as well be fucking you, right?
Yeah.
So at what point in your life you just said, F it, this is me, take it or fucking leave it, you know, I don't care.
I think it's a constant progression of that. Like I feel like I'm continually moving towards that more and more and more. Like there's still stuff to this day that I want to say that I don't say. You know what I mean? Or I say it and then I'll take it down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have said it like that. Because people are, when you start getting all those eyeballs on you, people are so critical of every little detail.
Oh yeah.
Even so, like I'm very aware now of context. Like, okay, I said this and I really meant this under this context, but it could be seen as this, you know.
But do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
No, I think it's bad. I think I think it would be better if I didn't worry about it and just said it.
Right.
You know.
I mean, look, like, you know, ChickfilA.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, the ChickfilA, he's closed on Sundays, and he went openly said to the public that he doesn't support gay marriages.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you remember that there was a march, and you know everybody was protesting this and that. But I think his business went up.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude.
So he took a stand.
Yeah.
And he went by it. You know, one of my mentors told me that, you know, it's better, you know, for 50% of people to hate you, 50% of people to love you, or 100% of people say you're okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. And you're much better off spending your time getting the 50% that have the propensity to like you, to love you, than you are trying to appeal the 50% they're never going to like you.
No, nobody likes lukewarm. Either be hot or be cold, right?
That's right. And so I would say most people from the outside are probably like, damn, dude, that dude lets it fly. But the truth is I got a lot more to say that I'm not saying.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet.
I'm continually working into that, you know? It's just a level of comfort.
Well,
because, dude, it doesn't feel good to get the backlash, right? Like, because, dude, I don't want to be misunderstood. Like, I fucking care about people a lot.
You do.
You know?
You do.
And people, because of the way I speak and the energy I have and the way I look and how it's all combined together, I think people's first reaction to me sometimes is, holy fuck, dude, that guy's angry.
Well, because they see a bit of your thing.
That's right.
They don't see your history. They don't, you know, they see maybe one episode or 2 minutes of one episode of what you said.
They listen to a 4-minute Thursday
4 minute, and they form a whole opinion.
Yeah.
They haven't seen everything else that you have done and all that kind of stuff. And you can't form an opinion on a 2 minute or 4 minute thing. You know, I know that because I've talked to people about you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's, oh God, man, I can't listen to him. The guys, you know, he cusses too much and he's angry and this and that. I'm like, dude, you haven't seen what he does.
Yeah.
Look at everything else he does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't just form an opinion on half a chapter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be able to see how the whole book is.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's, you know, and so sometimes I do feel misunderstood because of that, you know, like I'm like, man, you know, I'm a good dude. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of good shit. And it bothers me a little bit sometimes, but I would say I definitely, if I'm putting a percentage on it, that's like 1% of the time. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it would be cool to not really care at all. But I think it's good to keep that 1% because it keeps you from just going off the rails. You know what I'm saying? And becoming like a crazy motherfucker.
I think the older you become and the more wiser you become, you're like, I don't even care. I don't care no more.
Yeah.
You know, I've become that. You know what I mean?
I've heard it. So, dude, I've heard every fucking rumor, dude. I've heard every rumor that could ever be started about me come back to me.
Yeah.
Dude, like just the weirdest shit possible. You know what I mean? And it's like, now when people say that, I'm just like, yeah, of course they said that. They don't know anything about me. It's what, you know, it's what people have this weird thing where if they see, let's say your life, and let's see they see 2% of it, right? Well, they have this weird need to have to fill in the rest of the 98
by themselves
on their own.
By themselves.
Right? So, and that's what you start to realize, especially the more bigger and recognizable your brand becomes. People will fill in the gaps with whatever the fuck they imagine.
For
so
sure.
like, it's like, it's not even a battle you can fight.
Now I see why some of the celebrities are like jaded.
Absolutely.
You know. Before I was like, man, the guy's just a dick. He doesn't want to talk to nobody. But the problem is, if he sits down and talks to one person, then next thing you know, people are going to make an opinion and say stuff. He's talking to that person, probably sleeping with that person.
Yeah, dude,
you can't even say shit like that.
Dude, like I can't even tell you how many times, like Emily gets text messages when I'm out of town, and they'll be like, or dude, even when I'm sitting there on the couch with her, and people will be like from the internet, dude, I just saw Andy at blah 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 with another female, and it's like
that's
I'm
me,
sitting
man.
on the fucking couch next to her. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just insane. So people, I've just learned that people will fill in the gap.
Yeah.
So and I know what I show. I show this much of this.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't worry about that kind of shit too much. That shit does not bother me at all. Like, I don't ever worry about the fucking rumors or the bullshit. I know what kind of dude I am. What bothers me is whenever, like, somebody misinterprets me when I'm really trying to say a positive message and they take it, and you know what I mean?
That comes with the territory. They spin around. So my next question, is that I've seen you evolve. I listen to your podcast. I'm a big fan of your podcast. And I've seen you evolve over the time. And lately, you've been more vulnerable than ever.
Yeah.
Now you've talked about so many different things that I haven't seen you talk about.
Yeah.
Especially the incident that happened with your godchild.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know we had that, and I've seen you at the syndicate, and you were in a rare form.
Yeah.
And you were more. You were just, your whole world was shaken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How is that? What have you learned lately in life? And how has that changed you from that episode? And it seems like you've been more vulnerable lately.
I think, dude, that was super traumatic. Most people don't even know what happened, but basically what happened was my niece, who's my goddaughter, she drowned in our swimming pool, and Emily pulled her out and saved her with CPR, and she was in the hospital for 16 days in a medical-induced coma. And the day after we did that big prayer in Idaho, she woke up. Even with all the drugs, it was a total miracle, dude. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what people believe or not believe. It's fucking God saved her, period. Okay? And it was very difficult for a very helpless feeling. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I've gone through a time that tough since probably ever, and probably the only thing closest to it was probably when I got stabbed in 2003. But I think as far as the vulnerability thing, I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. I just feel like so many people out there are lying about what the fuck they really think. Like, and dude, the reason I started my podcast and the reason I even got into personal development was because Vaughn and I really were talking, and he brought something to my attention that I never realized. And I had an amazing father, entrepreneur. Now I didn't inherit money. He never wrote a check for me, but fuck, dude, he taught me some shit. You know what I mean? And I took for granted that what I had learned growing up, which kind of put me at a huge advantage. So I started realizing that. Because, like, dude, I would see, like, people that work for me, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Like, don't you know this, and this? And they never heard that shit. You know what I mean? And I'm taking it as, like, you should know it like you know how to breathe. You know? And that turned a spark in me where I was like, dude, I have an obligation to teach some of this shit that I was gifted to learn to people like me who are struggling. And because, dude, when I was struggling in my first store and we weren't making any money, I was living there. My dad could have gave us some money and said, oh, son, I don't want you to live. But he never did. And he let me ride it out. It was the best thing that ever happened for me. But I always had him on the phone, right? Like, I could call him up and be like, hey, this is what we're dealing with. What do you think? And most of the time I'd argue with him and tell him he was wrong, but he always ended up being right,
Yeah.
But so I felt an obligation to share some of these things. And dude, that's something I struggle with too, because the truth is my content really isn't even my content. It's shit that I learned from my dad. And if he would have grown up in this time, it'd be him everybody listened to, not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, I just felt an obligation to share that information, and that's how I got into the space.
And bro, and you have helped hundreds of thousands of people,
Yeah.
if not millions of people,
yeah.
where there's so many downloads of your
Yeah.
podcast, including myself, and like you said, like you do it for pure content. You're not running ads to it.
No.
You're not, and I hate those podcasts when I'm sitting there and we're going to interrupt this
10 minutes
program
ads, yeah.
for ClickFunnels.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
All that kind of stuff. I'm like, bro, I don't want to listen to this.
I mean, I could easily make mid-7 figures just advertising, on my podcast. I just won't do it because I don't feel, that's not why I started it.
Yeah.
I started it to serve. And, when you speak about vulnerability, I feel like I have an obligation to tell the truth on that because there's so many other big names out there.
To just mask everything like
Bro,
their life is just perfect.
They're pretending like they have this entrepreneur superpower, which nobody on the earth fucking has.
So you mean to tell me, like when so-and-so tells me if you do A, B, and C, you're going to be fucking good, that's a false, right?
It's going to be hard, you know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know who we're talking about.
Right.
But if we're being like, dude, here's my thing.
Because it looks like everybody has a formula. There's no really fucking formula,
No.
right?
It's applied effort,
Consistency,
time, and then ability to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
And if you add those 3 things together, you're gonna get success.
Yeah.
But there's some dudes out there, who are saying shit like, "Oh, dude, if you don't have it, you don't got it, and you got to have it to be an entrepreneur." And it's like,
oh, by the way, I have a course for you to get it.
yes, and like, dude, it's just I just can't do it, man. I think it's important to let these younger people. When I say younger, I mean younger in entrepreneurship, not actually younger. To let them know, like, dude, we all have a struggle. Like, dude, yesterday, right before our call, I fucking was ripping people's heads off. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's normal, man. That's like, and so many people, because they present it to be this perfect picture, the people who are having problems in their company, which is absolutely normal, are thinking they're doing something wrong when they're not. Oh, I'm not good at this. I'm not good. Fuck, nobody's good at it. It's hard as fuck.
Learn it as you go.
That's right, man. So like, and dude, you get to be, 40 years old and you've been doing it for 20 years. It gets easier because you just know what to do because you dealt with it before. But it doesn't get any easier when the problems are still there. They're just there.
So, a lot of people, including myself, I look at you like you are where I want to be. You have the, what I see as, the mansions, the multiple homes, the baddest cars, beautiful wife, a big company. You change people's lives. Not only you're successful, but you're significant because your success has helped so many other people. But yet, Andy, you publicly say that you suffer from depression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How the fuck does that work? Because for me and all the outside world, we see what you have accomplished.
Yeah.
We see the lives that you have changed. It's not. See, I can see if I can see if you just made it. You had the house, the cars, but you really haven't helped anyone. Because Tony Robbins says success. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure.
Yes.
But you have success and you have fulfillment.
Yeah.
Then how come
I
the
think
depression?
that's important. Dude, that's a really good question because I think people misunderstand what depression is really about. It's a most of the time, if you have real depression, it's a physiological deficiency. You're neither uptaking or maybe not making enough of the hormones that make you correct.
Yep.
So,
have you always suffered from that?
I've had it since I was 19 or 20 years old. Dude, you know what? You know how I figured out I had it? Like, this, I can't even remember when I started having it. But do you know how in the commercials they say this shit like, they say, oh, if you have thoughts of suicide, you should call the doctor immediately, right? I probably saw my first commercial like that when I was 12 or 13 years old. And I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. Everybody thinks that shit. So I just told myself that's normal because that's all I ever knew. Like, I always thought, like, oh, these motherfuckers that are shooting themselves, they're fucking crazy. Like, dude, they're being pussies is what I thought. You know what I'm saying? And because, like, I always had those thoughts, but I wasn't yet acting on them. They just hadn't grown. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Then when I got older and I started having real pressures and real situations in my life that I had to deal with, it compounded, right? And dude, it was just, Sam, I couldn't even tell you when it started. I tell people 20 years, but I know for a fact it's been longer than that. It's been as long as I can remember. And in 2011 or 12, I had like a legitimate breakdown, like where I had to go to the hospital for a few days and like they had to do all, and that's whenever I was having, like it started manifesting itself into physical pain where I couldn't even open my eyes and my neck and my head hurt so bad, like that I thought I was like dying. And so we did all these tests, and one of the guys is like, dude, I think you like have severe depression. And I'm like,
me? No, I can't have depression.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, they're like, well, do you have this and this and this? And I'm like, yeah, fucking everybody thinks that, you know, in the way I would say it, just like that. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, let me put you on this medicine and see if you feel better. Dude, I took that medicine for like 2 fucking days, and I felt 1,000% different in a good way. And so it like took me getting out of it to even realize that I was in it. You see what I'm saying?
Got it.
And so, and I think that's such a great question, because so many people use that as an excuse.
Yeah,
they
for
say,
sure.
Oh, dude, look at this guy. He's got this, he's got this, he's got this, and he's still like that. It has nothing to do with this. It has everything to do with this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so people, you know how people justify their lack of action because they're like, look, rich people fucking unhappy too. No, motherfucker, it ain't the money that's making me unhappy. It's a chemical imbalance in my brain. And to be honest, I am really happy, because you can also be happy and depressed at the same time. It's a weird thing. If you experience it, you know what I'm talking about. You'll have these, it's almost like bipolar. You'll have these extreme great stints where everything's great, but your downs are so long and so down that it's like being in prison. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, you know, the 75 Hard program that I do is really almost like my cure of how to keep that in check.
By the way, man, I'm going to stop you for a second and tell you how brilliant that program is.
Thank you.
I mean, I just think, you know, and it's so funny because now I see people spinning around making their own.
Yeah.
You know, I got a 25-day hard, you know, 30-day hard, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But I just think it's so brilliant because it's so simple, but yet it just little action steps every single day for you to build those habits.
That's right. And
brilliant.
It's and the cool thing about it, you know, that's just my way of keeping those things in check. You know, when I'm disciplined, when I'm working hard, when I know I'm paying the price, I'm the happiest.
And that's what we talked about in the last syndicate, right?
Yeah.
Discipline. When you are the most disciplined, you're in happiness.
That's right.
Because you know you're working towards your ultimate goal.
Discipline and happiness are exactly aligned. If you're exercising discipline, you will be happy.
I've been using that line now ever since then.
Truth.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is that the world and our society that we live in doesn't paint happiness in that picture. They don't like take a dude or a woman like working their ass off and then paint that as a happy picture. They paint it in a negative connotation. Yeah. Nobody wants to work hard. Working hard sucks. Blah, blah. Like, think about when you ask someone, like, hey, bro, how's your day going? Oh, it's going. Like, dude, you know what I'm saying? They're not getting it. And the point, what I've discovered, and this is the truth, the best I've ever felt is after I do hard work.
Yeah.
Like, period.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
It could be the gym. It could be in the warehouse. It could be writing a book.
Just feel accomplished.
Yes. And that's when I'm happy. And so I feel like the picture of what happiness looks like in the world is actually false. Because, dude, they put it as like this.
Sitting on the beach drinking
That's
a
right, bro.
Umbrella drink, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I went to a gas station a few weeks ago, and you know, I was trying to pay, and they're like, no, you have to go see a cashier. I'm like, fuck, I got to go inside, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to see a cashier, and there was a
Worst,
poster.
by the way.
Yeah, you're
the worst.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Man. So I see a poster that had like chips and Doritos and stuff, and then a bunch of stuff like 5 for $1. I don't know what the fuck it was, 5 for $5 or something like that. And he says, because New Year resolutions were made to be broken. I'm going like this. I'm like, you. It's mind-boggling what they're teaching society, because I'm like, okay, so that means that you give yourself a word, you promise yourself something, and it's okay to fucking break it.
Yeah.
And that's the message that we're sending in society these days. And no wonder people are just like down and out and they don't feel good, because you keep like making promises and you break it.
Well, dude, and when you think about it too, is that when people are unhappy, they spend more money on bullshit.
True.
So it makes sense to paint a picture of people being happy, which is what they want.
Eating Doritos and shit.
That's right. It's good for money. It makes money. So, like, dude, if you really think about it and you really start to see it, it's almost like unplugging yourself from the matrix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when they say take the red pill or the blue pill, and you took the one that's going to make you aware, that's kind of what it starts to feel like. So the counterintuitiveness of the thought that hard work actually makes someone happy, or discipline actually makes people happy, is a hard thing for people to understand. That's why I put the program out there for free, because I'm like, all right, look, if you can do it, that's a challenge. Like, It's fucking hard, dude. It's a long time. 75 days is a long fucking time to go without a cheat meal or a French fry or a potato chip or a missed workout. You know, your feet are gonna hurt.
Bro, most people can't do a week.
Bro, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so simple to do, but yet
that's why I laugh about these dudes doing like 25 day and this. Dude, you're fucking counteracting the whole point of the program anyway.
Yeah.
You don't even get it. So, you know, I just feel like if I could I feel like that's the most important message I could bring to people.
Yeah.
I feel like that's it, you know? And so you're going to see me move my content more from just business to that mentality content where it's like, look, you know, you cannot fake your fucking happiness. You know, it doesn't matter how many times you look in the mirror and say, oh, you're the best. Like Stuart Smalley, you know, oh, I like you. Oh, people love me. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you actually believe when you say it. And you're only going to believe it if you're actually doing it.
You know, one of the best books I read on that subject is What to Say to Yourself When You Talk to Yourself by a guy named Shad Hamster. You know, he has a PhD in it, and it was so profound. It's basically what you just said.
Yeah.
No matter what it says, what do you believe?
Yeah.
Because if you're somebody who just kept breaking promises to themselves,
that's right.
And after a while, you just, you know,
you're a fucking liar.
Yeah. You just basically told yourself you're a fucking loser.
Yeah.
You don't follow up with anything. That's why when you see people like, well, I'm just not good at this. I'm just not made for that, because they kept breaking promises that they made to themselves and things like that, man.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, so tell me about how you came up with 75 Hard, because it's such a brilliant concept, you know. And I'm like, when you came up with it, I'm like, dude, why didn't I think about that?
Well, dude, just being in the fitness industry, like the first thing is you could follow any diet and any workout program, because you know how people like to, like, in the fitness industry, everybody wants to compete on who's pro. It doesn't matter what fucking program you do. You do one that you can stick with. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to create something that everybody could get behind, and I didn't want people to not do it because they thought I was like making money on it, right? Because like, dude, you know, everybody's competitive. Oh, I don't want to do that because he owns this company. Like, that we technically are competing for people, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to avoid that bullshit. So I wanted to create something that nobody could really pick apart, and that was for your mentality. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a million body and dude, I'll be first to tell you, if you want to get in physical shape and that is your only fucking goal, 75 Hard is something that you should not consider to do, because there's easier ways to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is a mental fucking toughness program. It is about cultivating grit, fortitude, confidence, discipline, self-belief, momentum, learning how to harness momentum. Dude, there's so many things that you learn. You have these little revelations about yourself throughout, you know. And what happens is people start to realize how full of shit they were.
Yeah.
You know, about how they were spending their time, or how much effort they were putting in, or what their actual excuse was. Because, dude, for 75 days, you're going to have a couple things in there that are hard to do. Like, for example, I went to Vegas 4 times during my 75 Hard. the first time through. That was not easy for me, because every time I go to Vegas, I'm a fucking animal. You know, I'm out eating the best food, drinking the best drinks, having a good time. So, like, I had to adjust how I did it. And you know what I found out? I actually have a better time when I do stick to my program. And I have a better time when I do drink water. Yeah. I just do, you know.
You discovered something you didn't know, because normally in Vegas, you know, you would have done what you normally do.
That's right. And you know what? Dude, one of the hardest days I had was when we did RTA Live here in St. Louis, and I had to do my 2 workouts. Dude, I had to do my workout that night, after I got home, after the VIP dinner at 1:30 in the morning. And dude, I fell asleep doing my fucking cardio on the bike. I've done that. I drug my exercise bike into my driveway at 1:30 in the morning. My neighbors are like, what the fuck? And I'm out there on the bike at 1:30 in the morning fucking dozing off like this, you know? But like, dude, it teaches you. To
just follow up with your own word, man. You know what I mean? Not many people know this, but you know, when I was at Penn State, I was taking like 18, 19 units. I was working as a personal trainer full time. I was bouncer, you know, on the weekend, and I was getting ready for Mr. Pittsburgh Bodybuilding Championship. Yeah. One night I broke. Yeah. I was so much stressed. I went and had pizza, donuts, all that kind of stuff. Next morning I got up, I was just crying. I'm like, Sam, you effed up 2 weeks before the show. You know, you should just drop out. You're no good. You're not going to be a bodybuilder, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And for 2 weeks, Andy, I went on a junk. I was just depressed. Yeah. And I decided to go to Mr. Pittsburgh Bodybuilding Championship as a spectator. Yeah. And I sat there, man, and I would have won even after eating 2 weeks of junk. So then I learned, man, no matter what, just follow through. You're going to say you're going to do something, even if you had a setback, just follow through.
And dude, and the cool thing is, and I think something to note here, and this is what people would like to say vulnerable, but the truth is, bro, even for guys like you or me, are super high achievers that we know, those guys discipline, and that shit comes down. And you've got to be able to recognize and be aware when your discipline level comes down. And what I think 75 Hard does that is really brilliant about the program, it's something I didn't plan on, by the way, but what it does, so I'm not saying I'm brilliant, I'm saying the program's brilliant, because I didn't plan on that, you know what I'm saying? Just something I found out. But what I found out was it makes you like hyper aware of where you are in the discipline spectrum. You know what I mean? Because once you come off and you go have a beer, you have a meal, and you're like, oh dude, I missed my workouts. But then you find yourself like 2 weeks later having 2 days off your program.
The next thing more.
Yes, and then like even no matter, and dude, that's how life is, right? So I feel like the ultra high level achievers, they're already aware of their discipline naturally. So like I've always known, like especially in the business, like my business discipline is always pretty good, but I know when it gets low. And I fucking correct it. But with my body, I didn't. Like, I didn't care as much as I did over here. But now what I've noticed from that program is that in all areas, it brought that awareness. Like, I notice more when I'm not doing good things at home. You know what I'm saying? I notice more when I'm not doing good things in the gym or in business or whatever, Or even if I'm not treating people right. Like, it makes you more aware.
Yeah, absolutely. It just goes like that.
Yeah.
So I know you're a big car guy, man. Yeah. When was that? Was you always a big car guy? Because I know ever since I remember as a boy, I was in love with three things.
Yeah.
Sports and weightlifting, cars, and women.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
I remember both.
It was like, I remember, right after high school, before I went to Penn State, I applied at an auto parts store.
Yeah.
And the manager at the auto parts store was like, well, so, what are your hobbies? I told him, weights, cars, and money. Oh, you're normal. You can start tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Shit,
so was that you too? Like from the very beginning,
sure.
Because some people just, buy cars to flash. You know what I mean? Like I appreciate a Volkswagen bus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Dude, I just bought my first semi-truck.
I saw that, bro. That's fucking badass. And you said you're more excited about than any other car that you have.
Right after this, I'm gonna go fucking drive it.
That's fucking badass, bro.
It's a 1989 Freightliner cab over with a flatbed. I'm gonna use for my farm. And I'm gonna strip it down, have it repainted, put a tilt bed on it. And I'm gonna use it,
That's fucking badass,
like,
bro.
dude,
I saw your IG. I was dying.
Yeah, dude. When I was a kid, man, I was big into Hot Wheels and micro machines and all that shit.
Yep.
And we had a slot car track in my garage. Like, dude, it's just always been part of our lives. Sal and I both growing up, it was just always something we were into. And so yeah, I mean, I'm like beyond obsessed, even to this day.
I love one of your posts, man. I think you were driving one of your trucks. I don't know how souped up it was. He goes, when your big ass truck is faster than a McLaren.
Yeah.
I was like, you took off on that bitch fast. I was like, that bitch was fast. I was dying, man.
I got a 71 K5 Blazer that's 1,000 horsepower, and it does fucking wheelies. Like, it is scary. Like, if I ever get hurt in a car, it's gonna be a that one. Like,
and then I saw, we said, when McDonald's have a sale,
Yeah.
and you were your Chevelle or something like that, you took off. I was fucking dying, man.
Dude, people get bent about those comments too, bro. All my buddies who have McLarens are like, oh, dude, I'll fucking race you right now. I'm like, bro, I'm playing. But you ain't gonna beat me by that much.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. It's like a 6,000 pound, vehicle, man. So it's crazy.
Yeah, dude, I love it all, bro. Like I recently got into Ferraris. I had been always anti-Ferrari.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah, and dude, I love the TDF. So that was like my Ferrari I liked, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking get a TDF. So I bought a TDF, and I drove it like the first time, and it was a hunk of shit because it was like it had been sitting for like 2 years on the sales floor because they're super expensive right now. And so I was like, fuck, I knew it. I knew they sucked. And so like I called the dude who sold it to me. I'm like, this is a piece of shit, bro. I can't believe you sold me this thing. He's like, there's got to be something wrong with it. And I'm like, no, it sucks. So he came and got it and took it to the dealer, and they had him go through it and then brought it back. And the first time I drove it, it was one of the greatest fucking cars I've ever driven in my life. And I was sold on Ferrari in 30 seconds. Like, it was so awesome. And dude, that kind of flipped my mentality about that whole culture in cars. And as I learned more about the company and how they're doing things, I came to respect how they do things a little bit. And dude, now I've got I got the 458 Aperta, I got the F12 TDF, I got a 599 GTO, and then I got the Pista Spider like you got coming, and a A12 GTS.
You know when you go to get your Pista? I know Ferrari does it all the time. It's going to come in December. We're going to have to pick up in December. Because right before the end of the year, right before the end of the year, man, they always call me. You know, I'm like, oh, it's not a good time right now.
Get those cars together, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure, man. So Lamborghini versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
You know, which one would you take? Why? And the differences.
Well, the truth is, I'll probably never own a Lamborghini ever again.
Okay.
Yeah, because, dude, I've owned over 20 different Lamborghinis. A factory partner in the race team. You know what I'm saying? Like I've got some.
You have some equity in the company.
I've invested a lot in their company, and the way they treat you is just not good. It's just not what I respect. And it got to the point. Like recently, I just traded dude, last week. I traded my, I haven't even told you this.
No.
I traded my SV and my Performante in on a 599 GTO.
Oh, wow. Mister, I don't like Ferraris now switch.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like that. But
dude, so tell me
I
exactly.
I respect their brand, bro. I can't respect it.
Can you talk about specifics?
Yeah,
I mean, like what,
all kinds of
somebody
shit.
pissed you off over there.
It's not that. It's just like, dude, I'm an entrepreneur, bro. I respect how people run their company.
100%.
It means a lot to me.
100%.
I can't support a company
I
don't believe in.
I'm with you.
So like, dude, when my friends who have Ferraris, and you have both, so you know.
Yeah.
So like, dude, here's my issues. Their ad persona program compared to Ferrari's TaylorMade or McLaren's MSO or Porsche's CXX is fucking terrible. It's terrible. They hold on to a model for 10 years at a time when they don't update any of their shit, and then when they do update it, they put a body kit on it and charge $3 million for it. Yeah. It's not even real shit.
Like the Aventador was long overdue, bro. Dude. Like, come on, like I mean, like that transmission was like, I had when I had to fucking take care of it because I was just, dude, I couldn't take this SMG no more, the single clutch.
Yeah, dude, and that's just like part of it. Like the people not being cool, it was just like icing on the cake. Yeah. If they would have been cool, I probably would still be buying their shit, but. They don't update their products. They don't protect their customers. They run 1 million. You buy a special edition, they run 1 trillion of them.
Ferrari never does that.
Yeah, no,
Ferrari never does that.
That's right.
You know what I mean, when I had the SV, then they came out with the SVJ.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Now it's always the next model.
So you're spending $700,000, $600,000 on an SV Roadster, and then they come out with the SVJ Roadster.
Yeah.
And then they come, and then who knows but the point is. What if you want to know like what really turned me off? I just tell you straight up. They wanted me to buy the new Cyan, the one they just came out with.
Is that like the $2 million one or something like that?
It's 2.8. And I said they wouldn't show it to me, so they wouldn't even let me see the car, but they want me to write a check for the car. And I'm like, all right, bro, that's not going to work for me because I'm pretty sure that the car's going to come out and it's going to be an Aventador that looks different.
You called it too. You
so
called
what
it.
happens is they put out an Aventador with a fucking bullshit battery on it and call it a supercapacitor. And that's 35 horsepower, and then charge $3 million. And I dude,
$2 million more.
Yeah. So because I said no, they didn't offer me the SVJ 63, and I'm like, all right, well then fuck you guys. I'm a factory race partner. I put literally millions of dollars into your fucking program. That's fine. We just want to do business, so that's it. And,
that makes sense. That makes total sense.
But if I was being completely honest, I would have never even looked at Ferrari had those issues not been happening. And then when I looked at Ferrari, like for real, now they are two completely different cars. I'm going to be fair here. I don't want to just bash Lamborghini. I used to think it was Lamborghini versus Ferrari until I started owning Ferraris, and then I realized they're actually two completely different cars.
Yeah, two different.
Just like a Porsche versus a Ferrari.
Yeah, it's two different.
So it's a different style of car. So that I will say that, and I do like certain things about Lamborghini. I wouldn't own them. Like, dude, first of all, there's nothing cooler than pulling up somewhere with an Aventador. Yeah. With the doors go up. That's the coolest fucking thing in the world. All right. The sound of the car, amazing. Love the sounds. The Performante, one of the best cars out. Period.
I love mine, man. Yeah. I love mine.
I mean, dude, I'm not just totally going to be unfair and be like, oh, I'm sorry.
Of course,
you know?
of course.
I still think they do.
But you know, as a businessman,
I can't
as a business, you can't.
Yeah. They're not working.
You can't respect it. You can't respect
it. And they don't value their real customers. They don't value the real people that have true passion for their company. You know what I mean? So I can't respect that shit.
I mean, look, man, like if somebody has bought, thousands of dollars worth of, First Form products, what I mean? Like he's been, they've been a loyal customer, and you can't go the extra mile for them, then they're gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, and dude, you know what? That's happened before. And to be honest, that's the worst thing in business for me, is when a customer becomes disenfranchised over something that happened. But they know all about these things I'm saying, and they don't give a fuck. That's my problem.
Yeah.
So I started, and the truth is, Sam, I got into driving the Ferraris. I like them better. That's the truth. Like, I like the big power. I like the rear wheel drive. It's more comfortable. It's got better
visibility for sure. Better visibility for sure.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like, if you're in a relationship, you wouldn't, and it was decent, you're not going to look over here, right? But the minute that it starts to get bad,
you look and you find something
better.
All
of a sudden, you find this person who really values you, and it changes your opinion.
So true.
Yeah, so I probably won't ever buy a car from them again, and it's not.
Well, they got to make it right. So, and if they don't feel like they need to make it right, they're too big for their customers. Then
dude,
then
that's the other thing is
you can never be that. You can never do that.
They don't understand. There's so much shit. They're in the stone ages of how they think about things. You know what I mean? And it's just something I just can't respect it. Man. That's really what it comes down to. Do I have a great time driving some of their cars? Fuck yeah, dude. I think some of their shit is awesome. Like, dude, the LP670 SV, the Murcielago SV is one of my favorite cars of all time. It's probably always will be. I probably won't buy one now, but I'll probably still like it. You know what I mean? But for me, I'm a very principled guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially as a business owner, whenever I go to any business, I watch how they do things.
That's right.
I watch. They're like, okay, here's what I would have done different. Does it do the things right or not?
Bro, how many restaurants have you been to?
I look all the time.
You've been to a restaurant and you're like, fuck, the food's good here, but the way they run things sucks. Yeah. And guess what happens? Yeah. You don't go back. Yeah. And that's just what it is.
By the way, I don't know why this subject just came up today. Yeah. I went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I looked around. There was no anything on the floor.
Good.
It was clean. Good. And when I took a piss, I made sure that I aimed it straight in there. There was nothing in there, because I remember watching your podcast, your piece. I made sure everything was clean, man. I was like, I don't know why that just came up, but I was like, I had to tell you that, man.
Yeah. Good. That's good news.
So your favorite car of all time that you owned, which one is it?
I would say it's my Chevelle, my 70 Chevelle, for sure.
Yeah, I think you said that publicly.
Yeah.
Why you love that so much? Because it's just a raw American, old school. It's kind of like you, right?
Yeah.
The old school mentality, work ethic. Big, raw, and.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just always wanted one of those growing up. My dad had a '69 Oldsmobile 442 when I was growing up. And I thought that was a cool car, but I always secretly wished we had a Chevelle.
Yep.
And so I think that's where it came from. So when the time came, I bought one, and then I built it the way I wanted. And dude, I love that car. I love it. I drive all my other shit in the rain, the snow. I don't give a fuck. Even my Carrera GT, I don't care any of it. That car does not go out in the rain.
I think that car would just spin out.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of top with that much torque.
If there's weather, if there's a fucking, you know what I'm saying? It's a special thing for me.
It's because it's such a special car that you cherish that. You know what I mean? Got it.
It's the only car I'm like that with. I don't let anybody else drive it. It's like if somebody who says, hey, like my orange Ford GT, which is a very special car.
That is badass.
Yeah.
Man.
But I don't. If a dude if they got to take it somewhere, I don't care. Dude, if the Chevelle's got to go somewhere, I take it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm going with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So that car for me is probably the car. And then, dude, I spend most of the time in the Rolls though. I drive the Rolls a lot.
Bro, that's my, everybody asks me what is my favorite car? Huh?
You got a race?
No, I have a Ghost.
You have a Ghost.
Yeah. My wife wants to race. I'm like, it doesn't make sense with the babies though. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm like, but she was, the race looks so better. So we got the Ghost, and to me, that's my daily driver.
Yeah,
I mean, you like ride on air, right? You don't even feel nothing.
Once you get into one, it's it's hard to explain unless you drive one. They're just so good.
I was at a speaking event, and they told me, bring the Aventador, and I drove the Aventador. I hated it. Yeah. And I drove back and got in the Rolls. Not talking about the contrast.
Yeah.
One that you don't feel nothing. One that you can go over $1 bill. Yeah. And you feel that.
Yeah, it's it's hard to pass that car up in the garage when you got to go somewhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you look at all the nice cars and you're like, all right, I'm still taking that.
Bro, you're excited about your semi. I'm excited about the Sprinter I just got.
Yeah.
I just got a Sprinter, and I told my guy, I'm like, look, make the inside executive style. I want to make look like the Rolls.
Yeah.
So it's black and red inside, and they got the starlight
Dude,
ceiling.
I saw that. Did you post that?
Yeah.
That thing is sick, dude.
Yeah,
I thought
bro.
that was you that posted that.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been wanting one of those. You like it?
Yeah, bro, I love it, man.
Oh.
It has Wi-Fi.
You
It has
gotta have that
I
in
can sit down.
California, bro.
I can sit down.
Yeah.
You know, I used to love driving.
Yeah.
But now, especially if I have to go to LA, sit in traffic, I can't miss 4 hours of work.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to be on the, on the phone driving,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I might as well just have somebody drive me. I be in that just chilling.
Yeah.
It's the best thing. You should get one.
Yeah, dude. Me and Sal are always texting back and forth, and because, but the problem is like I always wonder where am I gonna take it?
Yeah.
Because we're here in the Midwest, we have
You don't
beautiful
got
roads.
and you don't got traffic like we do. You know what I mean?
No,
So yeah, you
our
can
worst
go.
traffic is better than yours. Yeah,
yeah.
better than your best traffic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time I'm in California, after about 3 days, I'm like, fuck, how does anybody live here with this traffic? And then I come here, I can fly in here at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a fucking Monday when it's and it feels like, dude, it's like a racetrack, because there's so much room.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, in here it doesn't make that much sense here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But we got season tickets to the Chiefs. It's about 3 hours away. So that's how I think we're going to justify it.
You gotta
we'll take it to
justify
the
it.
Chiefs game. Yeah, right.
I'm taking it to a boxing, the 28th Earl Spence fight.
Yeah.
So I'm taking it there, have a driver, just so I can have a couple of drinks.
How far down do you live from? You live down by Ed, right?
Yeah, I live 40 minutes from. Ed used to live in my same neighborhood.
Okay.
I mean, he's from that area.
Yeah.
We grew up next to each other.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And now he's in Laguna, but I'm about 35 minutes away from
Is
him.
that south? You're south,
South.
or north?
No, he's south. I'm north.
Okay, so you're closer to LA.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
got it,
Yep.
got it.
So you've done a bunch of podcasts. You have a lot of people asking you questions. What is one question that you wish someone asks you that nobody has?
Oh man.
I know that's a hard one.
Yeah.
But what is something that you want to talk about? You're like, man, I wish somebody would ask me because I want to go the fuck off on this subject. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the truth is I think if someone were to ask me if I was president, what I would do to fix the country.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's something I think about all the time because I have a legitimate strategy of what would fix it.
I would love to hear it.
Yeah, it'd be really fucking simple. Just go to charging tax on the internet. The internet has to pay sales tax, okay? And the reason that is, and I know they're doing that, but they didn't do it for a long time, and it really fucked up the economy because now you have a situation of people who employed less people but accounted for more sales, taking the tax dollars from people who employed more people.
Makes sense.
Right? Okay? And putting that, you're giving them a 6 to 10% advantage by allowing them not to charge tax. So that's why everything on the internet was so much cheaper than it is in brick and mortar, right? And so now we had this situation for 20 years now where these companies online have been able to grow exponentially that's actually costing the economy jobs. So that would be the first thing. I think if you're operating on the internet, they should actually charge more tax than what they would pay for
It's a brick and mortar.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That makes total sense.
These people employ more people.
Yeah.
Okay? The second thing is there should be term limits on Congress and Senate for every 2 years. They should not be able to go in there and stay in there for fucking ever, right? That way we're constantly refreshing new ideas, new people. The third thing is there should be no special laws. So the laws that they make, they have to abide by. No special tax breaks, no special health care, none of that bullshit. And then all of a sudden the laws would start to make sense, right? So those are the first three things I would do. I would also one of the things I would do is I would regulate the media on what they could say about things like gun violence, like shootings, because what they're doing by perpetuating these big stories and making celebrities out of these kids is causing more of it, right? So they put these stories online about, oh, John Smith went into school and shot a bunch of kids. Well, that person is now famous. He's a world household name, which gives other people the idea like, damn, dude, if I do this, I'm going to get famous, right? So there's all kinds of little things that are obvious to me that could be fixed that nobody's even talking about because it doesn't serve the interests of the people who are actually making the rules. You know what I mean? I just feel like it wouldn't take much, bro. It would just take a few things. You know, we could revitalize the economy. We could stop. I think the big thing is to make everybody abide by the same rules. You know what I mean? That's the biggest part. But that shit doesn't happen because the people that make the rules are like, fuck
they're
that.
they're bended. Yeah,
Yeah, why am I going to do that when I get all the special rules?
Trump never showed his tax returns.
Yeah, right. Yeah, dude. It's like, you know, it's all kinds of stuff, and I don't know. I would never want to be president.
Like, I don't know. I don't know if you're one of those problems.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
No.
You know what I mean?
And it doesn't pay enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Was it $250,000 now or half a million now?
400 and something.
I think you make that in a second.
Yeah, but like, dude, I'm not like the real reason is, bro, is like, fuck, you seen these dudes go in and what they look like when they come out. Like, they go in office, like Obama went into office looking like a pimp.
Bro, he looked
come out looking like Grandpa Pimp.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's not something I'd want to do.
Andy, you talk a lot about test days.
Yeah.
You know, what are test days?
Man, those are the days that matter. You know, those are the days that everybody, dude, we all have them. You know, it's the day you don't want to go to the gym. It's the day you don't want to go to work. It's the day that you know you're supposed to do something, but you don't feel like doing it. That's a test, man. Most people fail those tests. Most people don't go to the gym. Most people will still go to work, but they'll half-ass their work. Yeah. Most people will, you know, cut corners every chance they get to make their life happier and easier, which is complete, like we talked about,
complete opposite.
Wrong thing to do. And, you know, when you pass a test, you get power, man. You get you're it's just like Madden, like a video game. You know, speed 99, discipline 99, feet quickness 99. Like, that's what you want. You want all your rankings to go up. So the way I look at a test day is the days that I don't feel like doing what the fuck I'm supposed to do.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Do it anyway, and I know my score. I'm gonna get a score out of it on the back end.
Because your self-esteem, self-confidence,
right,
self-worth just goes up.
Yeah.
And then if you lose that test, man, I mean, it's gonna go down.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's how I look at it.
And it compounds over time,
bro. And people are so unaware of that. Like, they're so unaware of it that, you know, it really fucks people, man. I think whenever, you know.
I'm a firm believer in that. You know, I remember when, you know, I was a personal trainer.
Yeah.
You know, in the beginning, man, I mean, I worked from 4 a.m. till 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, Saturday 7 to 3, and Sunday 7 till noon. And I remember, you know, I was 26, 27, you know, started my company. You know, I would be in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. You know, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., you know, partying.
Yeah.
But I had a client at 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what, I got to go.
Yeah.
I got to go. What do you mean you got to go? I would go behind Kmart, put my gym clothes on, like nothing ever happened, but I was not going to cancel that client because I made that commitment.
That's right.
And every time I did that, even though, like, people were like, I thought it was crazy, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to cancel.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what built my self-esteem and self-worth. That's why I think I'm 6'5".
Bro. And you know what? You know what's funny? Nobody ever notices that you're 5'5" either. It's the truth. I would never even thought, like,
I don't notice it.
I don't notice it. But that's the power of real confidence, bro. Yeah. Real confidence radiates, and you don't have to say anything. People feel it, and I'm aware of that enough and care about that enough to where I'm trying to keep my score up there because that shit feels good.
Bro, my ex-wife was 5'10". That's how much I don't care.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like my 10-year-old is already as tall as me. You know what I mean? So when I go to church, they're like, I'm dropping my kids off. They're like, is that your kid? I'm like, yes, my kid. They look at her and look at me and look at her. I'm like, yeah, man. You know, ex-wife is tall. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So one thing that you have done that totally has transformed my life personally was because back in the day, you know, I'm the king of having a list, but I have 75 things on that fucking list. Yeah. You know, and I was trying to check them off and getting fucking frustrated, check them off. And then I got your power list. Yeah. You know, I like invest. I think I have stocks in that thing, man. Yeah. I got a whole bunch of unused one like right there. I want to have them on deck. Now, you put 5 things that I want to get done. And that has tremendously increase more productivity. Yeah. Because I don't have 95 fucking things I need to. I'm always stressed out because it's like having 800 bucks. Yeah, I'm always losing, bro.
How good you do, you're losing, and that's how most people live.
How'd you come out with that?
Dude, I figured it out from just doing it. Like, I figured out that when I limited, so I used to do the same shit, bro. I'd have this list, and it would be pages long, right? And that list would last like a year, and I had no way of like figuring out if I was doing good or bad or what. Like, so what I started doing was I would take the big list and I'd put it into a day list. Yep. And this is how it started. And so I just said, all right, I'm going to start. I got 100 things I need to be doing. I'm going to take 5 of them. I'm going to put them over here. And today, these 5 motherfucking things are getting done. All right. And then I started figuring out, like, at the end of the day, when I checked that last thing off, I felt good. Like, I felt like I won that day. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'd write a W on it. If I got all 5 done, I'd write a W. If I didn't get all 5, I'd write an L. And that's how I started. I still have the original notebook. I actually still don't even use my notebook that I I use the same one I started with.
It's original.
Yeah,
you know exactly what you're doing.
Sheets. And because it's like a little binder one, you know?
Bro, they said that the ultimate form of sophistication is simplification.
Yeah.
Because any dumbass can make a simple thing hard, but it takes brilliance to take a hard thing and make it simple.
You would be surprised, bro, how many people cannot obey the 5. They're like, dude, but I can get 15 done. I'm like, you don't get it.
Just do 5,
You're not going to get 15 done. First of all, you're going to work yourself to death. Dude, I get 5 things done. If they're done by 10 a.m., you know what I do? I go fuck with my cars all day or do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So, like, the way that I really, that's the value.
You know, that's like, you know, somebody, it's the same thing. You know, I want to lose 100 pounds, but I'm going to lose, 20 this week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, it's too much. You're not going to be able to do that. You're going to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, just clean yourself up a little bit, dude. It'll come off, And that's the thing that concept, I think that concept is, it's the only way I've been able to figure out how to really be successful and also feel happy. Yeah. Because otherwise, like we said, dude, we're always feel like we're losing.
Yeah.
Because, like, dude, we get, you got 15 things done, but you got 65 more to do over here.
Yeah, you're never going to be done.
It's constant
you're never
anxiety.
Going to be done.
It's constant pressure. So what I did was I just went to 5, and once the 5 got done, I took the rest of the day. And if I wanted to do more that day, I would do a couple more. If I didn't feel like it, I didn't feel bad about it.
You get your main objective done.
Was 5.
So anything else is bonus. if you wanted to.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
So I'm going to finish up with this because this is a subject that's very dear to me, and I think you talk about it all the time. Is that our society here in America is not what it was 10, 15, even 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. When I came to this country, I was 11 years old. We escaped the war in Iran. And I thought I was coming to Beverly Hills because I saw these shows and I thought everybody in America had swimming pools and mansions and Cadillacs and Bentleys, But I came to a little town called Sharon, Pennsylvania, where I was the only minority. I didn't speak English, and my uncle had a store in the fucking hood. And I'm talking about in the hood, one of the worst neighborhoods, that you ever see. My videographers and photographers have gone with me. We filmed a documentary there. And when I went to school, it was black people, was white people, was Sam. Talking about being bullied and being beat up and all that kind of stuff.
You can't fit in with anybody.
No, and you know what? And that's just part of life.
Yeah.
And I think bullying is always been a part of life throughout everything, right? I'm not saying it's right, but it's what is part of life. And getting picked on and all that kind of stuff. But somehow over the years, it seems like America went through what I call a pussification process.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Oh, don't say this. Oh, I'll do this. Man, I got bullied, I got beat up, I got called. I was the only minority.
Yeah.
Black people call me names, white people call me names.
Yeah.
You name it happened. But it made me a beast.
Yeah.
It made me, I had to defend myself quick.
Yeah.
Verbally, physically, emotionally, you name it, I had to build that right away.
Yeah.
But these days, as soon as, you confront somebody.
Yeah.
You just confront somebody. Hey man, where's my P&Ls?
Yeah.
Why are you bullying me, man?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What the fuck, dude? That's your job.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, dude. I totally agree with all that. I feel like we've dealt with a 25-year span, 20-year span of really bad parenting strategy, and I think people are finally starting to realize that it's producing bad kids. Because what's happened really is we have an entire generation of people that don't understand the way the world works. They're living in an idealist, they were taught with idealists, like this is the way the world should be, not the way that it is. And so now we're dealing with those repercussions where we have a generation of people that are really lost. And that's our fault. That's the older generation's fault. Because it's not my fault, because I never believed that shit. But I'll take my place in the generation, right? So we have people that think that, that for their whole life they were taught there's no score kept. Everybody wins. You're special. You're this, okay? And they're taught that. Then when they get to be put out in the real world, everything that they were taught is found out to be false.
Yep.
How would you feel if that was the truth?
I mean,
You
if
feel hopeless.
everybody wanted, everybody would get hired for the same position.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
But think about it as a society. Like, let's think about it as an entire generation. We have an entire generation of people now that are to a point in life where they're figuring out that, holy shit, this is a lot different than what I was told. And what are they doing? Instead of actually adapting, they're throwing fucking fits. They're throwing tantrums. They're making us change the way we are or the way you think to, and the truth is there's so many different personalities in that group that no matter what you say or what you do, somebody is going to fucking say it's wrong. Yeah. That's not reality.
I mean, look, we have Planet Fitnesses, man.
Bro.
We have Planet Fitnesses.
Think about pizza.
I was like, wait a second.
And they get huge. They're getting big. The company's getting bigger by the day.
Now, if somebody made a gym that says, look, man, you got to eat right. You can't do. Yeah. You know what? Let's just open up a gym that says 75 hard.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're gonna get so much backlash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
you'll be like,
anyway. You know how many people say to me, they're like, "Fuck, dude. That's unnecessary punishment. That's the fucking point. The point is to get fucking tough.
Delay gratification, motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I mean? Learn to fucking follow through. You know what I mean?
I had a buddy tell me, dude, I'm really struggling. I'm like, well, yeah, they call it 75 easy, motherfucker. Yeah. It's called 75 hard. Yeah. And so, but dude, it's a really big problem. It's a big fucking problem.
I see it. I mean, I see it, and it just for me mind-boggling. Yeah. The entitlement.
That's right.
Everybody win. Well, I deserve this.
That's right.
I should be a part of this. Come on, man.
People are confused when they hear entitlement too, and I'm not picking on millennials at all. Like I'm talking about even people that are
there are people my age now that feel entitled.
That's right. People like when I say this shit. Oh, why are you picking? I'm not picking on millennials. My whole company is millennials. These motherfuckers in this building work harder than anybody.
You know what? I got millennials working for me right now. I mean, these guys are beasts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just how you upbringing, how you view the world. That somehow, some way, somebody threw that out there that there's entitlement, that there is like everybody wins and everybody gets a fucking trophy. Well,
I think what people are most entitled to is the fact that they think that they're entitled to feel good about what other people think about them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when we talk about entitlement, people hear it and they think, well, I'm not entitled because I don't think someone should give me a money or give me a car. But what you are entitled about is the fact that if I disagree with you, you think I'm fucking wrong automatically or I'm being mean. No, I'm actually just seeing something from experience that I see you're fucking up. Yeah. And you're thinking that you're entitled for me to be nice about it. It's just a whole generation of just weird thinking. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And it certainly doesn't make sense to them either, because they're looking at people like us like, these guys are they're fucking animals. They're, and then we have this whole thing of like the men movement, right? Like, what makes a real man? You got to do this, you got to do that. It's like, dude, where the fuck do we get off on all this shit? Like, here's the reality. Competition is life.
Yes.
That's it.
I thrive on that.
That's it.
If I had no competition, look, man, let me tell you a quick story. Like, I was going to retire from bodybuilding in, I think, 2001, and I was trying to get in shape, and every fucking night, I got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I fucking went to bed, I was like, fuck, I can't get in shape, I'm just cheating every night, and then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do a show, you know what I mean, because I was competition driven. Next thing you know, that's the only way
no peanut butter and jelly.
No peanut butter and jelly. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to go there and fucking lose.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So I got in shape, and then I'm like, you know what? The only reason I competed till 2005 was because I'm like, that's the only way that I know I can get in tip-top shape. I have to have a goal. I had to have an enemy. You know what I mean? For me to step on stage and whoop their ass.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
It's nature. It is fucking nature. Dude, you take a kid, if you take a toddler and you give him a block like we all had with the square and the round pegs, right? And when they first get it right, what do? They get happy. They're like, that's competition, man. It's in our fucking DNA. When you take that out of people, because we have all these people who are, let's be fucking real. They didn't put the time in with their kids to make them competitive at anything. Then they want to take them to a sporting event or wherever, school, and they want to fucking change the school or change the event to suit their lack of
so parenting. Fucking true, man. So fucking
like,
true.
Dude, if you want your kid to be good as shit, go practice with them. If you want your kid to know shit, teach them some shit. You know what I'm saying? And like, dude, it's really what it comes down to. It's not even fucking entitlement. It's lack of personal responsibility. Because like, dude, and I know you're like this because I know you as a man. you're going to take care of your kids and make sure that they're best equipped to not be those people.
Yeah.
You know, like, and somewhere along the line that became uncool.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be cool whenever they're 30 years old and they're able to take care of themselves and they're kicking ass.
You know, my job is not to be friends with my kids or this. Not my job is to make functioning members of the fucking society.
That's right.
You know, when long after I'm gone, they need to be like, you know what?
And they're going to pass that shit down to their kids.
You know what? You know, they might say, you know what? I didn't always like, you know, say I don't like my dad, but if it wasn't because of my dad,
Bro,
I wouldn't be here. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I'll take that.
Dude,
I don't rather than
my
say.
dad used to make me do shit, dude, that I fucking hated him for. Hated him for it, dude. One time, my dad made us. I mean, I could tell you a million fucking things. My dad was a fucking savage. Like, dude, if he was a dad now, I mean, like of kids, and people knew what the shit that he did,
They would call Child Protective Services.
Yeah,
CP.
Yeah.
I already knew that was coming. Bro. I already knew that was coming, bro.
You know, and he gets embarrassed when I say that because he knows it's not cool now, you know. But that's how we were raised, and like, I'm not talking about getting our ass beat. Fuck yeah, we got our ass beat. But my dad would do shit like this, like me and Chris, we were friends in high school, you know, and we got caught drinking one time. All right, so me and Chris, this is my business partner. Me and Chris had to put in a fence for my dad, and so we had to put in it's real rocky here where we are, right? So we had to dig like 200 post holes with a fucking post hole digger as punishment for getting drunk, right? The next day. So my dad just says,
hungover and everything.
Yeah, that's right. So my dad's like, you're gonna fucking drink. This is what it's gonna be like. And he was always, and I fucking hated him for that because he did that a lot. It wasn't just that. There was a lot of things like that. You know, but
you got your work ethic.
Made me
you got your work ethic.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Now the things I hated him for, I fucking love him for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now I get it, but I didn't get it when I was a kid.
You don't get it like that. You don't get it. No. You don't get it. Like, later on, when you become successful, when you become who you are, you be like, you know what? Wow, look, my thinking, my whole mentality is a cut above everyone else. Yeah. And if it wasn't because of those times,
Dude,
I wouldn't be here.
Even to this day, bro, my dad's 74 years old. He still works harder than anybody I know. Like, he could still go out. Dude, if we let him, he'd work himself to death. Yeah. You know, like a couple years ago, we started paying for his landscaping and his yard. But dude, I drove over to his house fucking 6 months ago. He's 74 years old on his fucking roof with a leaf blower trying to blow. I'm like, Dad,
you're gonna fall,
what the
bro.
fuck you doing? You know, but like that's just the generation they came from. Yeah. And so,
I love that, man.
Me too,
bro. We need more of that shit, man.
Dude, I know, and you know that comes down to us being that way. Yeah. You know, because now it's our time. Yeah. You know, we're no longer kids anymore. Yeah. We're men now. You know what I mean? And like, it's a big responsibility, and it's tough. And you know, when you asked me about kids before, I used to have,
and that's why I was just thinking that. I'm like, that's why I think you'd be an amazing dad.
Well, dude, the funny, it's true. Yes and no, because I really fucking hate physical labor, and if I have kids, that means I got to go back to doing some of it.
You got to teach them, right?
Yeah, because I did so much of it. I'm just like, no. Like my brother, he fucking loves that shit. Me, not so much. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I've done enough.
Yeah, you're scarred from it.
Yeah, and but yeah, bro, you know, I will say this, and you know, on a positive note, because I don't want to be like, oh, I'm just ripping on. I will say I do get the feeling. I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I do get the feeling that people are starting to turn back.
Yeah, 100%.
They're starting to 100%. Realize like a huge mistake was made here, and they're starting to say, hey, maybe this isn't the right shit. 100%. And it's starting to come back around, which, dude, that makes me excited. Yeah. Dude, I really, truly believe, though. They're coming
back around like the old school bodybuilding gyms are coming
back.
That's
right.
You know what I mean?
And I really, truly believe that's why my podcast does well. Because people are starting to like be like, okay.
We're tired of the fluff.
Dude.
We're tired of fluff. We want real, we want raw, we want what it is, you know, and it's tired of okay, pretending to be something you're not, man. And that's your podcast number one, bro. Yeah. And that's it's the number one in the world, right?
Yeah, it's been number one in the world. It's number one in business, literally, for the last year almost.
Rightly so.
Yeah, actually, it's been about a year because it was last September we started really hitting.
Bro, how you get T Grizzly to have you play his shit in the thing? I was like, that is dope, man.
Yeah, dude, I love T Grizzly.
Me too. Yeah. I was listening to it earlier today, man.
I love T Grizzly and I love Young Dolph. I love Key Glock. Like all this shit that nobody really. They're like, who's this 40-year-old white motherfucker listening to this shit? Dude, that's the shit I like to listen to because you know what? The stories they tell, I relate to.
Yeah.
You know, like I relate, even though they were selling drugs and I'm selling supplements. Yeah. Like I can relate to that. Like I relate to the things they talk about where like, you know, nobody believed in them and nobody supported them when they, you know, they went to jail. Nobody was that. Like I fucking relate to that in my own way, you know? And so that's just always been the shit that I like, you know, those kind of messages.
Well, brother, man, I really, really appreciate the time you took today out of your work, bro. To you know, I appreciate you inviting me to the First Form, you know, headquarters. I look forward being inspired and being mentored by you, man, and for everyone out there, man, that who, for whatever reason, they haven't heard of you.
Yeah.
You know, I know everybody should.
Yeah.
You know,
Dude, I'm just a regular dude, man. We're still doing this shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Where can they find you, man? If they haven't heard
I
about
do
you.
most everything. The podcast is where I'm putting most of the my effort now, which is the MFCEO project. It's on iTunes. It's everywhere. If you type in MFCEO project, where the podcast, they're gonna find it. I do Instagram pretty regularly still. I do a lot of stories. Really, my Instagram story is where I put out the most.
I love it, man. I like you. I mean, you get deep in your pool, man.
Yeah.
I like the pool stuff, man. You're just going off of a rant, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's become like a thing now. Like, dude, because like my one buddy from high school, he's like, I didn't do it for a couple of days, and he sent me a DM. He's like, "When's sexy pool time coming back?"
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, dude. So I posted that, and now people call it sexy time with Andy. So like now it's like people when I don't do it for a couple of days, they're like, "Bro, I need sexy time with Andy." Bro, it means go to my pool and yell at him.
Bro, you know, here's what I imagine. You know how this happens. You're in the pool, you're chilling, right?
Yeah.
You're having maybe a drink.
Yeah.
This is what my imagine. This is me filling out the 98%. I mean, no, this is me filling out.
Yeah.
So you know, because sometimes when you drink, you start thinking about shit, right? And I'm like, okay, it's having like a scotch or a vodka or something like that. Then you're like, you know what? Fuck it, I want to talk about this.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty much it. Right? Yeah, see, you understand the 98%. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
It's basically me sitting there and then
thinking about life.
And then I start thinking about something, and I'm like, you know what? This would be a good thing to say. You know. And then usually, like when I get up the next day, I'll look at it and be like, was that really a good thing to say? And then I look at the DMs and I'm like, fuck, they like it.
Yeah, they love it. Yeah, because it's from the heart, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, I appreciate you, man. I love what you're doing for the community, for everyone out there, for entrepreneurs. Thank you for everything that you've done for me and for the industry, man.
Dude, thank you, man.
God bless you.
Super honored,
Thank you so
bro.
much.
Thank you.